All right, well, hello 8th graders. We are moving right along here in Chapter 1, looking at 1.3b today. And so first of all, we have some directions that basically tell you to solve the equation if possible. And so we'll talk about what that means, if possible, here momentarily. So anyway, we have an equation here, 2.5y plus 6 equals 4.5y. So some of the equations are just going to be regular equations that have a solution. So I'm looking at this one, and I'm thinking, well, okay, I'm going to go ahead and subtract 2.5y from both sides, because of course I want to zero things out. So then if I subtract 2.5y from that side, I'm going to subtract 2.5y from that side. 4.5 minus 2.5 is 2. 5 minus 5 is 0. 4 minus 2 is 2, so I'd get 2.0, so I'm just going to call it 2y. But if I already have a 0 on this side, I need to get a 0 on this side, so that's a minus 1, so it's going to be plus 1, which is going to be 0. But if I add 1 to this side, I'm going to add 1 to this side, which leaves me with 7 equals 2y, which essentially means that y equals 7 divided by 2. I can leave it that way because that is in simplest form. Nothing besides 1 can go into both 7 and 2. But if I want to turn it into a mixed number, 2 can go into 7 3 times. If I take 2 into 7 3 times, there'd be 1 left over. My denominator is 2, so my denominator is 2. I get 3.5. Now, here I have another equation, this time with parentheses. As we know, parentheses always means 0. So it's 5 times w, which is 5w. 5 times a negative 2 is a negative 10. Negative 2 times 1.5, well, let's just bring over our calculator and let's go ahead and clear it. So we have 2 negative times 1.5, and that's going to equal negative 3. What it has there. So negative 2 times 1.5 is negative 3. Negative 2 times, and of course I want to put the w, negative 2 times a positive 5 is a negative 10. So we have 5w minus 10, negative 3, minus 10. All right, I'm just looking at something here. All right. And so what I'm going to go ahead and do here is I'm going to say, well, okay, I'm going to add 3w to both sides. It's going to give me 0 here. If I add 3w to this side, I need to add 3w to this side. That's going to give me 8w. I brought a 0 over here, so I need to bring a 0 over here. I'm going to have to add 10 because that's negative 10. That gives me 0. If I add 10 to this side, I'm going to have to add 10 to that side. That gives me 0. So that leaves me with 8w equals 0, which essentially leaves me with 8 times something equals 0. Well, w equals 0. And so that pretty much solves for that. Now, so we're going to have something that looks just a little bit different. And it doesn't, maybe to say it looks different isn't the right term, but it just is different. So once again, I've got numbers with parentheses, so I know that that means multiplication. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times a minus 2v is going to be a negative 12v. Then I'm going to go ahead, negative 4 times 3 is going to be negative 12v. Negative 4 plus 1 is going to be, a negative 4 times a plus 1 is going to be negative 4. All right, so I need to isolate the variable. Well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add 12v to this side, which is going to give me 0. But if I add 12v to this side, I have to add 12v to this side, which once again gives me 0. That's interesting. I zeroed out here, so I need to zero out here. I'm going to add 4 to that side. That's going to give me 0. Then if I add 4 over here, I need to add 4 over here. 30 plus 4 equals 34. That leaves me with 34 equals 0. Well, we know that 34 does not equal 0. So when that happens, and there's not really a way to solve it, this is what we call no solution. And at this point in your math lives in 8th grade, you will sometimes have equations that have no solution. So we go to this one. 1/2 times 6x minus 4 in parentheses equals 3x minus 2. Well, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go to my calculator. First, it's 1/2 times 6. So I'm going to come over here. 1, and then I'm going to press my fraction button, 2. We're multiplying that by 6. And so that equals 3. So 1/2 times 6 is going to give me 3x. Then I'm going to do 1/2 times negative 4. So I'm going to come over here. 1/2 times negative 4 equals negative 2. So this is going to be minus 2. All right. And then, that's interesting. 3x minus 2 equals 3x minus 2. Whenever you get the exact same thing on both sides, that means it doesn't matter what number you plug in for the variable. It's always going to work because it's the same exact thing. And this is what we call infinite solutions. Infinite solutions, meaning that the number can be absolutely anything. Now, for the last part of our lesson today, let me get this marker closed up. And let me grab a sheet of paper here. All right. So, I'm going to look at a certain problem here. Let me grab my pen. So we're out of marker space. But let's say I have a situation where basically I have something that looks like this. All right, so I have a triangle, and what the directions are going to tell you is to find the perimeter of the regular polygon. Directions are going to tell you to find the perimeter of the regular polygon. Well, two things we want to make sure we understand. First of all, we want to make sure we understand this word right here, perimeter. Perimeter, remember, is the distance around something. The distance around a polygon could be a triangle, could be a square, a rectangle, could be a pentagon, 5-sided figure, could be a septagon, a 7-sided figure, but it's a closed figure, and the distance around it is the perimeter. The only exception is if it involved it was a circle. The distance around the circle is what we call the circumference. But we still typically call it perimeter if there's just a half circle somewhere. We still call it perimeter. So the perimeter is the distance around a polygon. Now it says regular polygon. In case you don't remember, a regular polygon means that all the sides are the same length. So in this part of your assignment, all sides are going to be the same length because the directions say find the perimeter of the regular polygon. Now, so I'm coming here. Here's my polygon. All right. And so one of my sides is 5 minus 2x. The other side is negative 4x plus 9. Now, the fact that it says that this is a regular polygon, like we said, it means all three sides are the same length. So then I know then that 5 minus 2x is equal to negative 4x plus 9. Because it's a regular polygon, the two sides are the same length, thus these are equal. So now I just need to solve for x. So I'm going to start that here first by adding 2x to both sides here. That's going to give me 0. If I come down here and do negative 4x plus 2x, that's going to leave me with a negative 2x. Negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. I zeroed out this side, so I'm going to zero out that side by subtracting 9. That's going to give me 0. So now I come over here, I have to do 5 minus 9. 5 minus 9 equals negative 4. So that leaves me with negative 4 equals negative 2x. Which essentially means now that to solve for x, I've got to do negative 4 divided by negative 2. Well, negative 4 divided by negative 2 is 2. X equals 2. Now, that's not my job, though, to solve for x. Remember what the directions say. The directions say find the perimeter of the regular polygon. Okay? So, if x equals 2, I have to go and plug 2 into one of these equations. It doesn't matter which equation. Let's use this one. Okay? Let's do 5 minus 2x, but x equals 2, so 5 minus 2 times 2, because 2 number right next to a variable is multiplication. Well, I know that 2 times 2 is 4. 5 minus 4 equals 1. So that means that this side length is 1. Well, they're all the same. So if this is 1, this is 1, and that is 1, which means the perimeter, which I will just use for P, is 3, whatever dimension they were using. All right, we'll talk to you later, 8th grade. Bye.